The main point of the trade and the main player involved in the trade was Highsmith, not a player that many know about, probably a guy that the casual fan has probably never even heard about, so don't entirely blame you if you didn't catch it or didn't pay much attention to it, but he quietly is a productive role player that's now on a team that probably doesn't want him, definitely not a part of their long-term future, not a fit for the Brooklyn Nets or likely heading toward a long-term rebuild, so he's likely going right back on the trade block and likely is available for the right price. And if this trade gives any indication about that price, it's not a very high one. Now keep in mind that the Miami Heat simply traded him and gave him off of that price due to being cheap, simply trading him to avoid the luxury tax. And side note, if the Lakers did that, I guarantee fans would be in an uproar about it. This is kind of similar to trading Dalton Connect or maybe a guy like Gabe Vincent, simply salary dumping them to avoid the luxury tax and not have to pay their contract and therefore pay the luxury tax. This is kind of what I'd compare that to. So with that in mind here, we'll talk about why he could be a good option for them, what a trade would look like, what it would have to look like due to the trade rules I just mentioned, and if he would be worth trading for and trying to add to the Lakers rotation. So we'll talk about that and try to break it all down here. And well, to begin, if you have no idea who I'm talking about, Highsmith is a 28-year-old shooting guard small forward combo, is between the height of 6'5" to 6'7". Depending on what website you look at, it might tell you one, it might tell you the other, so maybe we'll just put him here at 6'6". And regardless though, he's a very talented 3&D wing, you know, kind of a product of the Miami Heat system, a guy that played in the G League and they picked him up thereafter, kind of developing him and turning him into a reliable rotation option. Started in 42 games for their team last season, playing 74 out of a possible 82 games, and throughout that time frame put up roughly 6.5 points per game, 3.5 rebounds per game, 1.5 assists per game, shooting 45.8% from the field, and a very impressive 38.2% from 3. And combined in the past 2 years now, has been a near 39% 3-point shooter, shooting roughly 43% from the corner, really being the definition of a 3&D option, as he's been a great defender in that time frame as well. Now you can't point to the numbers too much with him, isn't a passing lane pest like a Marcus Smart for example, is a very good on-ball defender and you have to use more of the eye test with that, really good at defending 1 through 3 and even 1 through 4 in some matchups, is a physical on-ball defender, very good at staying in front of his matchup, isn't too foul prone and doesn't take too many risks, which again does affect his steal numbers and what you can point to with it, but if you've actually watched him play then you know that he's a pretty good, disciplined defender out there. I mean, if you want to talk about the defensive numbers, you can a little bit with him. Last season averaging 1.3 steals per 36 minutes, also that being his career average per 36. Then if you want to talk about defensive BPM or defensive EPM, showing up positively on defense in both. Last season having a plus 0.9 defensive BPM rating, having a plus 0.8 career defensive BPM rating, all around proving to be a positive on defense and really a positive on both ends of the court, defensively kind of being his main thing and kind of his bread and butter. Like I said, a product of the Miami Heat system, and for role players like himself, that often does come through hard work and mainly on defense, and he's been showing it too. So apart from that, we then have to trade a guy like Gabe Vincent, which I definitely would explore here for Highsmith. At that point, the Brooklyn Nets could take on that salary, only $5.9 million coming in, and they do have enough cap room left to absorb that, being one of the very few teams left that has cap space, and they're definitely willing to take all of it, rather than spending it on a free agent or a player that can help them win games, which again they don't want. They're rebuilding and trying to tank for a higher draft pick, so I'm sure they would welcome the addition of a guy that would take up more salary cap space in their team, like Gabe Vincent, by trading away Highsmith, swapping Highsmith for Gabe Vincent, with some draft compensation to come with it. And well, like I said before, with the trade kind of indicating that he's not worth that much, at least not in regard to the Miami Heat and what they gave up for him, I don't think it would take that much to get him. Unfortunately, we only have one second round draft pick to offer here, that being the Lakers 2032 second round draft pick, and I'm not sure that would be quite enough to get Highsmith. Probably pretty close to it, but maybe not quite, even with Gabe Vincent. Ideally it would be, but might have to throw in a future first round draft pick swap. That's the absolute most I would give up for him, but it might be worth it. If we're talking about trading Gabe Vincent and upgrading over him, I think Highsmith would fit the bill. Whether you're talking about the 3-point shooting ability, Vincent shooting roughly 35% from 3 last season, and that is above his career average, then going to Highsmith, who shot 38.2% last season, being a 37.4% career 3-point shooter, a very impressive 40% plus corner 3-point shooter. He would definitely be an upgrade offensively, definitely be an off-ball upgrade for their team, and then even defensively he'd be the same if not a little bit better than Gabe Vincent, and definitely more versatile on defense. Unlike Gabe Vincent that can only match up with point guards or smaller guards on defense, Haywood Highsmith can match up 1 through 3 and sometimes even 1 through 4 on defense, is a good point of attack defender, is a good wing defender, is switchable on defense, and a very hard worker on defense like Gabe Vincent. I think that would actually be a pretty good fit for them too, and probably worth the price, which wouldn't be that much again in my opinion. But I think that will pretty much do it for this one. And if you enjoyed the video, then I would greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.